If you've been thinking of starting your own business, but you haven't really moved forward, then this video is for you. Well, there's a reason why you have that dream business. Maybe you're just so sick of the daily grind, or maybe you're looking for a greater work-life balance, or maybe you just want a greater income potential. Or maybe it's just you wanting to be your own boss so you can be in control of your life. Well, all those are real reasons, and all those things can be possible. You can fulfill all that and all your dreams if you have your own business. So don't let anyone or anything stop you from becoming an entrepreneur, because you were created to be one. Now, if this is really stirring you up, encouraging you, or simply making you curious, then give this video a like and share it with others you know. You know, every time you do that, every time you support somebody else's platform or business, you're actually sewing back into your own business or your own platform. So when you hit that like button and you share it with others, then you are actually sewing back to whatever you have, whether it's a business, again, or a platform. And I upload a new video every Wednesday that will help you start, build, and grow your small business successfully. So if you don't want to miss any of the videos I post, then hit that subscribe button and the bell. And if this is the first time you're seeing me, let me introduce myself. My name's Lisa Mackey, and I love helping driven people like you start, build, and grow their small businesses. And I've been in this entrepreneurship journey for over 20 years. Yep, a long time. And I've had many barriers. I've had many things stopping me, hindering me, and disrupting me even from moving forward. So this is what this video is about. I'm going to help you overcome whatever barriers you have. Are you ready for that? Okay, then let's start and watch this video up to the very end if you really want to know how to overcome those barriers. Sounds cool? Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so one of the biggest barriers to your success, okay? So this is a barrier that stops you from moving forward. It's also a barrier that can disrupt you, and it's also a barrier that hinders your success or even steals your blessing from you. And it's called fear. Yep, it's one of the biggest barriers. And one of the things that is true about fear is it's always going to be there. You know, you won't really be able to remove the fear. And the key is to know what it is there for. So every time you move forward, the fear is going to be there because this brain gets comfortable where it is. It doesn't want change. So every time your brain senses change, it gets scared. It starts panicking. So the way to deal with that is to explain to your brain, hey, this is really what's going on. Instead of you allowing yourself to be carried over to that fear that your brain is feeling, no. You take control of that brain and tell your brain, no, this is really what's happening. And this is why it's very crucial to have a plan. It's very crucial to know what you're doing. It's very crucial to clarify things in your head of what you are really about to do. And I have actually a free masterclass for women that will give you the steps in building the right foundation for your business. It will guide you step by step in how to start and build your business so you can set it up for success. So all you need to do if you're a woman is sign up, go to lisamackyconsulting.com/masterclass. You can also check the link later on the video description, later after watching this entire video. So that fear is always going to be there. And where does that fear come from? Other than your brain getting scared that you're going to change, that fear is also coming from a place of uncertainty. So when you're not sure of what's going to happen, if it's a new territory, you're not used to it, you haven't had a business, this is the first time you're jumping into entrepreneurship, or maybe you're going to do something that you're not really familiar with, then it can really get scary. For instance, if you're not really used to doing videos and all of a sudden you have to do a YouTube video, that is very scary. But when you start preparing, when you start understanding what it takes to create a video like this, then the fear is going to get less scary. So one of the ways to deal with it is to acknowledge that there is fear. Next is to identify where the fear is coming from. And third is to find a solution to that fear, to find a way on how to address it. So if it's just the brain getting unsure of what's going on, then clarifying things will help you and will help your brain. If it's a matter of uncertainties, then researching on what is out there and preparing for it will also help you. So that also falls part under clarifying things. And another thing that can really be scary is just not having the money, and it's not just not having the money for the business, but oh my gosh, if I start a business, then where am I going to get my money? Because, when you start a business, it doesn't grow right away. It takes a few months, 6 months to a year before you can start seeing results in your business. And that is if you do things right. So, of course, it is a valid fear, like, where am I going to get the money to sustain me? But this is where fear really is helpful for you, because the fear is there to tell you, hey, you need to create a plan. You need to have a backup plan. Hey, you need to figure out a way on how this will not happen. So for instance, you are thinking of quitting your job so you can be a full-time entrepreneur. And if your fear is not making enough money that your job is providing for you, then that fear is telling you, hey, you got to plan for something. And that plan can include not quitting your job right away, or probably getting a part-time job while you're building your business. So there is a way around those fears. There is a way around everything, because you know what? Our capacity as human beings to adapt to any change is really strong. And our capacity to make things happen is also very strong. I mean, come on, there's always a solution to everything. Anything we want so bad, we can always come up with a solution. So really, if you're very, very serious about starting a business, then whatever fear you have, you will be able to overcome. Whatever problems you have, you will be able to solve. But the key is to figure out what is causing that fear. The key is to figure out what the problem is. And I promise you, if you're serious enough, you're going to find a solution. If you're serious enough, you'll be able to create a plan that will eliminate that fear, or at least pacify your mind so it doesn't start panicking and start getting scared. Again, my masterclass for women will really, really help you in putting some clarity in your mind and giving you direction. And that will really tell your brain, hey, I know what I'm doing. You don't need to be afraid. Another fear is a fear of failure. Now, this is more likely related to something you've experienced in the past. And so the way to handle that fear of failure is to identify where it's coming from and why you failed in the first place. There's a reason why we fail, and there are ways on how to fail-proof our business. Again, that masterclass will help you fail-proof your business. So I've been in business for a very long time, and in that entire journey, there have been many failures that have made me scared to expand, have made me scared to move forward. And, when I started looking at those failures and started looking at why I even failed, and when I started seeing, like, I'll give you an example. I had a clothing business before that failed big time because it was not something that I was very passionate about. I wasn't passionate about it. It was something that was just passed on to me. And so that was the biggest reason for the failure. And so once I've identified that, then I was more careful to do the things in business that I was passionate about so that I can fail-proof that business. So this is something, again, that I teach in the masterclass. And then another thing that helped me deal with the fear of failure, because I've had a lot of fears of failure because of my past experiences. So another way that I dealt with it is when I started comparing, what I would miss if I don't do it compared to my fear of failure. And so the good things that would happen if I take that risk, if I move forward, outweighed my fear of failure. So there was a recent survey done on, I think they were like dying patients or dying people. And they were asked what their biggest regret was, and it was not even their failures, but it was the things They were the things that they failed to do. So those were the biggest regrets. So whatever your fear of failure is, think about what's going to happen if you don't do it. And I promise you, doing it and reaping the benefits of what may happen if you do it will outweigh your fear of failure. So these failures in business can be avoided. They can be avoided by building your business on the right foundation. So what's another barrier? Time. Time is another big barrier that actually prevents us from moving forward or prevents us from succeeding. I mean, it's not really a barrier in itself, but it's one thing, one barrier that we think we have. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't have time to start a business. I've been wanting to, but I don't have time. Well, this video is going to help you if that is your problem. And one of the things that I shared in that video is that time is subjective, meaning that we are the ones who feel that time is too short or too long or too fast or too slow. Because really, if we are enjoying something, like when I made that video, I was on vacation. So I was like really super, super enjoying it, and time was so short. But when we're bored, then time is too long or time is too slow. So it is really subjective because time is enough. Time will always be enough. And time is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It doesn't change. So time is enough. We feel that time is not enough. We feel that we don't have time in our hands because of two things: lack of prioritization and because we get stuck and overwhelmed. So this is really what happens when we don't have our priorities straightened up. Because, when you're starting a business, you need to make sacrifices. And that's just starting. If you want to build it and grow it, then there are more sacrifices to make because success doesn't happen overnight. You have to make it happen. And you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. So sacrifice would mean instead of watching Netflix movies at night, you will use that to watch webinars and to read books. Instead of hanging out with friends every weekend, you can sacrifice one weekend or even every weekend until you start building until your business is built and until your business is running. So you can replace that with, attending an online course. So there's always sacrifices to make. And so when you use those time, when you sacrifice something for something, like as I've mentioned that Netflix for watching a webinar, if you exchange something for something, then time will be enough for you because now you have time that was supposed to be for something else, but now this is your priority. Now, if you're already doing this and you still feel that time is not enough, the problem is in getting stuck and overwhelmed. And again, this is because of not really knowing what we're doing. So sometimes we're trying to figure things out. And this has happened to me so many times, and it still happens to me. So I need to be careful in really, other than prioritizing, it's really understanding what I'm doing, before I implement something, because that's when you waste time. So when you don't really know what you're doing, for instance, you're figuring out a way to start an online course, okay? And you don't really have a very clear guide on how to do it. So you're like researching and you've utilized 2 hours of your time without even having clear steps to follow. And so that's the reason why you felt that you didn't have time, but actually you had 2 hours in your hands, but you spent it scrolling and researching for nothing. So which means that you were busy, but you were not productive. So again, and I can't really help but emphasize the need for you to sign up for this masterclass if you're a woman, because it's free. I'm offering it for free. And if you sign up for this masterclass, it's really going to make your steps very clear for you. These are foundational steps that will help you start and build any business. So before you even think of the hacks and what platform am I going to use, this is what you need so you can build a solid structure for your business. So another hindrance are external factors. So there are a lot of external factors, but I'll just give you 2 examples. One external factor can be just having kids, okay? Having little kids. So they can definitely be a hindrance. They're not really a hindrance, but they can be a hindrance for you to be able to start building your business and also having a full-time job. That can really stop you or hinder you or prevent you from moving faster or from moving forward. And well, we can probably add a spouse or significant other who's not really very supportive of you. So these are external factors, and there are lots of other factors. Now, there is a way around this. There is a way around this, I promise you. In your planning, you have to include not only the things that you need to do, but you also have to include your priorities. Who are your priority? Your priority should be your family. That should be your number one priority, because what's the point of succeeding in business if your marriage is going to suffer, if your kids are going to have an absentee mother, So you want to prioritize them. But at the same time, you want to be able to build this business that will also give you fulfillment and will also help your family in the long run. So to do that, you do need to include both of those in your plans, not only on how to start your business, but how to incorporate your priorities into your plans. Now, that is something I teach in my online course, or one of the many things that I teach in my online course. Now, as I've said, there is always a way around it. Do not let those external factors stop you. In fact, if you start making excuses and saying, but my husband is not supporting me, or, well, I have many little children and, my time, I barely have time for them, then it means that you're not serious enough to start your dream business. So maybe you shouldn't even be thinking about it yet, because your seriousness is what's going to make you do things. It's what's going to make you solve whatever problems you have. It's what's going to make you break all those barriers. Everything I'm sharing with you are simply advice, an entrepreneur's advice, and it's simply guidelines that you can use, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be your decision, and it is your seriousness that's going to make things happen. So, has this video been helpful to you? Has it opened your mind on how to overcome those barriers? Well, let me know in the comments below, most especially what resonated with you the most, because I would love to hear your thoughts about this. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss any of the videos I post every Wednesday. So again, check that masterclass for women, lisamakiconsulting.com/masterclass. And I also have starter kits for free. So this is for male and female. So if you can't sign up for the masterclass, I still have those starter kits that will help push start you. Okay? So this will not really help you grow your business, but it will help you start your business and clarify some things with you. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the